The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Countering Terrorist Fighters Legislation Bill be reported to the House by Tuesday, 2 December 2014, and that the committee have authority to meet at any time while the House is sitting, except during oral questions, during any evening on a day on which there's been a sitting of the House, and on a Friday in a week in which there's been a sitting of the House, despite Standing Orders 191 and 1941B and C. Mr Speaker, as the Leader of the House said when moving the urgency motion this afternoon, the Government is proposing a shortened Select Committee process here due to the urgency of the proposals. The legislation, as we've heard in the first reading, contains measures that can add to the safety and the security of New Zealand in the short term. It's the Government's intention that legislation be passed before the House rises for Christmas, so that we're in a stronger position to deal with the threats we're seeing. Furthermore, and this is very important, a more comprehensive review of all relevant legislative settings will occur in a broader intelligence review that's required under law to begin by the middle of next year, and it's envisaged a very full Select Committee process will take place at that time. In the present circumstances, what the Government wanted to do was for this bill to get as much Select Committee scrutiny as possible within the time available. I realise obviously the time is short, but we've taken some steps to try and address that. For example, as I said in my first reading speech, a number of organisations, including the New Zealand Law Society, have received advanced copies of the bill to assist with their submissions, and I know that the Legislation Advisory Committee has been looking at it as well. I beg your pardon? Well, I think instead of plaintiff cries by that New Zealand First member, I can assure the House that there will be an opportunity for submissions to be given by the sorts of people whom this House would expect to give submissions. And I've already mentioned the New Zealand Law Society and the Legislation Advisory Committee. And I know, for example, as I said, the LAC has been looking at the issue, and I'm confident, given the very constrained nature of the bill, which is shortly to be heading to the Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade Select Committee, that we'll get good submissions. The issues, as they have appeared in the first reading debate we've just had, appear to be very focused and defined, and I believe we can cut to the chase very quickly. So, Mr Speaker, that is why we are seeking a shortened timetable, and I am confident that the Select Committee people, comprising the sorts of people who are on that committee, are going to do a very good job over the coming week.